Right, we are going to have a look at this clutch. So it's got a brand new clutch plates, it's got brand new clutch plates, brand new clutch, and to be honest, it's fierce on the take up. It has been fierce, it's improving obviously with time. And the other thing is it's as I say, it chatters like Billy-O. The thing is strange because when you pull the clutch in, it feels like it's got stiction. It's very odd. If you blip the throttle at all, it crunches the gears. So you really best bet to pull the clutch in, change gear, and it works fine. What they were doing at the factory. So that's that. What have we got to do? Obviously we need brake off, that off. We disconnect debris, that off, and we pull this lump off carefully because we don't want to bugger the gasket. The reason I put it on the side stand is it doesn't run a lot of oil in these. It's very much a sort of sprays a bit about job. It's a sort of, it's not dry and it's not wet, it's semi-dry I call it. But we'll whiz that all apart and get back to you in a second. Which is a clutch basket holding blah 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 tool inserted there. I think I got this from eBay. It's not the most brilliant thing, but it sort of works. You can do it by standing on the brake, but of course you're sort of then putting a lot of stress through the engine. And then we have a special tool number 2, which is a socket, again eBay or somewhere like that. Not a great deal of money. I've seen people making their own, but to be honest, it's not worth the faff. This one fits perfectly, and as you've got to torque it all up, you want something that's going to fit right. So that being said, we'll fit item A into item B. We'll put an extension on there actually, and pop the clutch open and have a look. Oakley dokley, we now have a clutch apart, and this is the end one, and designed to sort of flick the oil away, I guess you'd say. There might be some question mark as to which way round that goes. It doesn't matter. Oh, it does. Whether it makes a difference, we'll check the manual out. Don't think this is new. This bit is not new because the clutch kit that came just had the conventionals in it. So when I say the conventionals, I'm going to take these off gingerly. Say these were new. We're going well. So it feels like we've got stiction. But let's put that carefully there. What I'm going to have a look at really closely. Yes, you see, this has got a bird edge. The other side is not bird. Bear in mind your clutch is compressed that way. It might be that I need to change those around. I don't think so, because I've already worked out that to come back. Well, it's not working marvellously at the moment, a bit grabby, so we'll turn them around. But again, I'm going to go back and have a look at the manual. So this, my previous one, I had a split in this, which was devastating because you can't get them, of course. And I still got it, sort of with the intention that maybe I might have to get it welded. Who knows? But yes, I think what the chatter is this. When the clutch is off, it's just touching, but we'll never know, I guess. That's what that is there. Just a mark. Some sort of something. But yes, this I'm sure is what the chatter is. Okay, I'll have a look at the manual and we'll get back to you. Right, I can find no mention of why this has got a sharp edge this side and a rounded edge that side. So bearing in mind the clutch compresses that way, which and it's got to come back. I'm going to guess that the rounded edge goes inward, because when the clutch is depressed and return, it's all a bit I might have a look, see if there's any reference to it anywhere on the internet. It's got to be worth looking just before I put it back in as the way I think it, because I'm bound to be bloody wrong. Right, a brief foray of the internet proves one thing: everybody wants to have their bloody sixpenneth. Everybody answers a question with 20,000 other technical. Just tell me which fucking way round it is. But anyway, I found a couple of posts that said the rounded side towards the engine. I know our remote, but we'll have to give it a go. See, already it spins. From memory, this will never go. Yeah, now I've moved it, I'm in trouble. Yeah, I knew you were going to do this to me. I think I have to. Give me a minute. Right, as you can now see, I've conceded defeat and taken the basket out. All of the steels around the right way with the beveled edge facing the engine. I'm still a bit miffed about why I've got a spinning plate on that oil distribution type on there, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The trick is now to get them all back in. I do not know what these little burrs are for, little marks, but I've decided that they should all be in the same place anyway. I don't think they've any relevance whatsoever. Probably some tool that they put them in with at the factory, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, and now I've got to try and fit it in this way round. So I'm going to turn this off because I know this is going to be a wriggle and a jiggle and a laugh. So I'll get back to you when it's in. Right, all said and done, it wasn't too bad. Certainly takes, I suppose, a bit of the play out. It's all in there, engaged nicely. So, important fact, that little washer is domed, and the dome goes to the outside. So the dome, you can see, is this side. It goes to the outside. So that's like that. Big washer, a knock-on washer is on there, fits in there nicely, and your flat special nut goes on there. Yes. Take a bit of the slack, still got that. Dude, but this is how it works apparently. So, next trick, very important. Before we go poncing around, we've got to put that stupid clutch tool back on. I say stupid because I'm not a fan of it. And then we've got to torque that up to a specific setting. We'll probably have a look at the same time, see what the settings are for these. And hopefully then we're done. And should be less of a rattle. Let's see. Right, that is now all assembled. Torque done to 44 Newton meters. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but whenever you get a torque setting in the book, it's never what's on my bloody torque wrench. I have to sort of convert it. But anyway, the foot-pound one didn't make any sense. I don't know why, but it's a Draper one. And I was looking at it thinking, oh, it just did, well, yeah, I got fed up with that and I just converted it to Newton meters. So we've just got to bend the tab over, and theoretically we have a clutch. I say theoretically, we live in hopes, don't we? So we bend the tab over, and then we can start reassembling and see. I think those might have a torque setting, I don't know, I'll have a look. So we'll ping it together, and hopefully we'll have a clutch on the lever next time. Right, we have it all back together and we have a clutch. It seems improved. I've only pretty much run it up in the garage and moved it backwards and forwards, but now you can just sort of run it backwards and forwards. It feels smoother, sounds a bit quieter. It's never going to quieten these, it's not what they're supposed to do, but it's all good. I'm quite pleased with that. There's a couple of points to mention. Obviously the torque settings, whenever there's a torque setting in the book on an old machine, I always tend to go for the lower setting. They're old bolts, it's old, you don't want to pull bolts out unnecessarily, and that's good. In terms of putting the clutch in, I found and actually I didn't film it, I've kicked myself. I found a sneaky little method, which is to assemble the clutch on the bench, obviously, and then put the lifter plate with 2 springs and 2 bolts, just finger tight. It just holds it all together, and that way you can get all the lugs together and just literally get it all in without, because normally when you put it in, the bottom plate, yeah, it's the one that's a real, you have to almost like pull it through your fingers, it's a bit fiddly. But if you assemble it with 2 springs, 2 bolts and the lifter plate on the end, just to sort of hold it in situ, it goes straight in. So I'm pleased with that. So that's that little job done. I say hopefully it will be all good. It's got new springs in it as well, which they're a lot fiercer than the old springs, but that's new springs for you, isn't it? So that's it, hopefully, and it will be of some use to somebody. If anybody knows of anything I've done wrong or should do better or could do better, please let me know. The one thing I did not do, simply because I didn't want to mess with it, is I've got, and I might have picked it up whilst I was talking, I call it a chatter plate. I've not fitted that. I seriously thought about it. I had a look, and to be honest, it adds considerable to the, I think you only end up with 5 friction plates if you put this in, I'm not sure. But I wanted to fix one problem before I embarked on another. Yeah, it would have been, I think originally when it came, it was quiet and it was very light clutch, but then it was knackered, it was slip, literally. And my one test, as you do when you get these bikes, my one test to see if it would do 100 miles an hour, I got to sort of, I don't say 99 miles an hour, but damn near 100 miles an hour, and it just started slipping. But it had one of these in, and the old clutch, which was really all distorted, very nasty. But I don't know if anybody knows any info on the process for fitting these, i.e. how many plates to take out and whatever. I just assumed it would take one plate out. If you take one plate out, the clutch would never disengage, so never work anyway. So I don't quite remember what you take out. As I say, I took the old clutch out and it was like throw it as far as you can see it, because it was the steels were immensely distorted and blued, and the plates were just, I simply put new plates in there, but of course with buckled plates it was no good, and as I say, they'd put that in there. So that's a job for another day, but hopefully that will be of use to someone, and if not, it's an aid memorandum for me. See yous again.